What? Electrician Kevin.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and where you are tuning in from to today's Fireside Chat. Excited about it. We are going to be talking about the law of timing. As you know, many of you know, I have been listening to, John C. Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Success recently on my hikes. And so one of them is the law of timing. And so we're going to discuss that today. And timing is actually quite fascinating because it impacts every part of our life. And I mean, it's everything. I mean, it's in business, it's in personal, we have timing, every single day in our life. There's good timing, there's bad timing, timing in things that we say, timing in things that we do, timing in business, timing in our personal life, timing in the stock market, timing in everything. And so we're gonna talk about the impact of timing. And it's some people have really good timing, other people have really awful timing, and sometimes even when it comes to the market, the stock market. Sometimes I think I have the worst timing ever. And although just recently, I think I had some good timing, and I'm going to talk about that. But timing is such a big part of everything that we do. And so we're gonna jump into that. And of course, as always, I love to get the interaction and get all the input. And I'd like you guys to think a little bit about examples of timing that might have happened in your life. Good timing, bad timing, and in the world. There's still timing that is good and timing that is bad. I mean, I think back, 2.5 years ago, roughly, when, the pandemic hit. And there are people that recognized what was happening there, and they capitalized on that situation, right? Whether they started a COVID test, a mobile COVID test, or they maybe bought Clorox stock or Pfizer stock or, whatever, they capitalized on the timing. I mean, I look back to even myself when that occurred, when that market took the first drop, and it was like in February of 2020, actually really from about November to February of 2020, the stock market was hovering right around 30,000, right? And so it was the peak. So, I mean, when the stock market's exploding, people tend to buy. That's what makes it kind of explode. And when the pandemic hit, the low during the pandemic happened on March 23rd, which is it was 2100 or 21,000. So that's an 8,000 point drop from February 10th to in less than a month. It dropped 8,000 points. And so there were people panicking, and I was one of them. I mean, when it first made the initial drop, I bought. I invested and I bought, and then I started realizing how serious the pandemic was. And I literally thought the world was, the economy of the world was going to go completely, in the toilet. What I didn't, count on was the government supporting people for 2 years. and so the economy maintained and actually grew. I mean, the stock market went to a new peak in December 27th of last year, of 2021. It peaked at 36,000, a little over 36,000. And how is that possible, during all of the crisis that was going on in the world? But the government there's things that happen that maybe we can't foresee. I mean, when it first happened in March of 2020, I bought, and then when I saw what the government was doing, then I could see that, hey, they're gonna carry this, and so then I sold, and I shouldn't say that. No, I didn't. By the time I saw what the government was doing, I had already thought this was settling in, and we were in big trouble, and I sold. And then I just oh my God, what did I do that for? Why did I sell? I ended up liquidating a lot, and then I just sit here watching the market go all the way to 36,000, and I just think of the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I lost because I panicked. And I sold, and thought I would never have that opportunity to buy again at those pandemic prices. Well, it happened yesterday, right? I mean, the market's been going down every single day. And when it goes down like that, people panic and they sell. And so it drives the market down. And so yesterday, the market went from a high down to 31, a 5,000 point drop, in the last, month or several days. And I'm looking at all of these incredibly solid companies. I mean, from, I got a list here. I mean, Starbucks and Chewy and Uber and Lyft and Zoom and Coinbase and Armor and Dutch Brothers and Beyond Beef and Spotify, Sweetgreens. These are all incredibly solid companies with a major future and long, and I'm seeing they're all at their 52-week low. And so unlike what most people do when the market is tanking, some of these stocks were down 70, 80% from their 52-week high. So, my belief is I got really good timing again. And this time I'm not financial advice on the market. All I did was, I just lived in regret over the last 2 years, having bought all that stock when it tanked and then panicking, selling it, and then watching it continue to go up, thinking, oh, that was a missed opportunity. I literally lost hundreds of thousands of dollars by selling. And this time, when everybody is selling because the world is going to hell and they're selling and selling and selling, that is, when that's what the masses do. So, I took the opposite and I bought, and I believe it's going to be a good move. But timing in finances is such of a huge circumstances. I mean, there are story upon story upon story that people have incredible timing when it comes to something like that. And I don't know, what do you gauge your timing on something in the market? Can it be intuition? Certainly that plays a part, your feeling. It can be research and knowledge and history and predictions of what you think's going on in the world and where you think it's going to go. I mean, personally, I think there's definitely a chance it could still head down further, but ultimately history shows it always goes back. And that's why the rich just get richer and richer and richer, because they don't panic. They recognize this stuff. And maybe some of them had the foresight to see all this happening. And, they sold around the first of the year. They sold in December. They sold in January and February when the market was peak, and now they're re-entering. And that re-enter, makes it rise back up. So incredible timing. But most people in the finance world don't have good timing. And the people that understand it, that do some research, I think I, made a good move yesterday, buying all these stocks, invested, a lot yesterday, and it's up nicely today. So timing in finance is make a big deal. You know, the crypto world right now, same situation. Even the people, I was watching TMZ yesterday, and they're like making jokes about Bitcoin, and this is, it's going to zero, blah, blah, blah. I believe that stuff's around. And so, I bought, some of that stuff yesterday and thinking it's, going to go back up. Yes, it could go back down. That's the funny thing about it. But anyway, so timing, it has, if you even think about, all kinds of, even personal things when it comes to timing, when you go to some place and meet someone or not meet someone, timing and calling someone, there's timing, hitting someone at the perfect time when you happen to call them when the timing is just perfect. So timing is just, it's one of the biggest game changers in our life is hitting timing right. And most people don't hit timing right. They get the timing wrong. And so, because they're emotional, they get emotional about circumstances and the things around them without taking a breath, looking at it and seeing, looking at history, looking and at these types of things. So timing can have an impact in every single part of our life, and there's timing circumstances that happen every single day. Every single day, we have opportunities to capitalize on good timing, and we have opportunities to capitalize on bad timing. Again, it can be something as simple as making a phone call, connecting with somebody, making a decision to buy something or to not to buy or to sell. There's timing in every part of our life. And of course, there's timing in real estate, right? If you happen to buy a property a year ago versus buy it today, there's a major difference in what you're paying and what you're paying on interest rates and all these kind of things. And so, timing does impact every single moving part of our life. And even when you look at our industry, right, that we're all involved in, the network marketing industry, when you think about timing and there's this group of people within this industry that are, let's call them deal chasers or momentum chasers, right? They chase companies that are in momentum. And so number one, they never get a foothold, right? Because if you join a company that's in momentum, right, you don't have enough time, because momentum in any company, if you look historically, as I've studied this stuff. If you look at historic companies and companies that have gone into momentum, that window typically is only about 18 months on average, give or take a few months. It's an 18-month window of explosive growth. And then things happen, and then it tapers and settles or declines. And so when you join a company that's already in screaming momentum, you can make money real quickly, but the real money is made with those people that have the base in place before it exploded. And that's why I'm so excited about where we are, because I believe that's where we're headed, right? We're headed for that next growth window. And so that's why these days are even more, yes, when it explodes, you want to be engaged and you want to have a team engaged. And the more you have engaged, the more that multiplying or compounding effect can capitalize on that timing. But if you're in this industry, as I have been for 33 years, and I've never been the momentum chaser, okay? I chase it when I'm in it, right, with a company, but I've never joined a company in momentum. I've always joined a company, and that's great timing on my part. I've always joined companies prior to its explosion, right? Looking at all of the facts and joining it prior, where the majority of the people, just like, most people sell stock when it's going down, most people buy stock when it's going up, right? And the same is true in network marketing. Most people join a company when it's exploding, and they leave a company when it's flat or declining. And that's where you need to be firming up, shoring up, preparing for the next movement, right? Instead of trying to, chase the next hot deal, which the likelihood you're going to miss it. You might have a little fun for a few months, but ultimately you're going to miss it. And then it happens, and then you're disappointed, and then you go look for another one, where at that point, the thing to do is to hunker down, settle in, build your leadership skills, strengthen your base and get ready for the next run within that, with right where you are, right? Versus chasing. So, timing just has such of a, so as I look at what's going on today in the world, when I look at what's going on today, in network marketing, when I look at all the different circumstances where I've had good timing, where I've had bad timing, right? And the impact that can have. But timing, good timing magnifies and multiplies everything that we do. Okay. I mean, literally exponentially, good timing magnifies our effort, our dollars, anything that good timing has to do, makes us all look good, makes us look smart and brilliant, where bad timing makes us, minimizes everything that we do, so whether, again, business, real estate, investments, personal timing in our life. I mean, think about, even coming back to our business, about, people that you've been thinking about calling, thinking about prospecting, and maybe that person you're thinking about, the timing is perfect for them, but you don't call. You don't call, and all of a sudden you show up on a Zoom, or they call you, right? Because they just joined something, or they just joined the same company you're with, and you're like, oh my God, I was thinking about calling you. I should have called you. And that's missed timing. So, I mean, timing just has such of an incredible, powerful, compounding, exponential effect on everything that we do. And so, good timing, bad timing. And so what I'd like to do is let's have a discussion on this, about the impact of timing, of maybe if you have some examples of good timing, examples of bad timing. If you think I'm crazy here and you want to say that, I'm fine with that too. But let me take and open this up for discussion.
Hey, John.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, great timing on my part that I got on this one. I had just completed the recording of the training for tomorrow. And I just talked about this. It's crazy how about the timing. And one of the things I mentioned was, a lot of times we learn from experience, like you said, about your examples with the stock and the crypto and so forth. And we all saw, well, most of us, we saw what happened in 2019 and 2018 when the Optimum Coffee was introduced. And I tell people, I said, I missed it. I didn't know it was going to be that big. I didn't really give 100%. I worked hard, but I know I didn't give all I could have given. And I missed it. And I saw where a lot of people got some serious financial blessings and they were able to impact the world. And now we've got the soul side, and the sticks are coming out soon, which we all desperately need, those sticks, right? We know what's going to happen. And, I was saying in the training that there's no better time than right now. If you're ready to run with Valentis, guys, there's no better time than this very second to go all in. And don't hold back, because we, and of course you have, John, and so many of the leaders have saw the rewards of what happened in that 12 to 18 month run that we had with that. And it's going to happen again. And now with VIP Coffee in the Philippines, I'm putting a lot of attention on building over there too. And I'm scared to death to miss it. I wake up every morning scared that I'm going to miss it twice, And so, so I just wanted to share that, because if there's anybody on here that don't realize that weren't around then, don't miss it like I did back then. Jump on, run with it, get your builder packs. When the sticks come out, get the sticks, go crazy with that 6-day experience, and you'll be glad that you caught it at the right time.
Yeah, and I mean, you're 1,000% right, Mark, in what you're talking about, because I think back. I mean, I saw what was happening with the Optimum in 2019, and I have never. There was an 18-month from 2019 until really, the end of I mean, I lived, ate, and slept it. And I mean, it was, and I was chasing that momentum. I was chasing that momentum because those are precious, precious days. And I believe that's what we're headed for again. I absolutely believe that we're headed to this massive movement again. And there's going to be people that miss it, you know, and there's going to be people like yourself that understand. You look at history, and there's people that are gone, right? Because, you know, they went and chased, right? They went and chased that hot deal, and they get there, and then they realize they caught it at the tail end, and they had a few months, right? But folks, this is, I mean, that's the thing about timing. I don't care if it's real estate, I don't care if it's network marketing. Timing windows are only open for a short time, and you have to capitalize on that timing. So think about your intuition, think about history, because history always repeats itself, and it's going to repeat itself in the economy. And the people that understand that can separate their emotions, not go into a panic mode, not go into a sky is falling, although it may feel like that in the world today. But there are people right now that are literally going to make fortunes just with the stock market correction. Right? I mean, there are other people that are literally have lost fortunes, right? And the same is true as you look at where we're headed. There are going to be people over the course of the next 18 to 24 months that I think are going to position themselves, or are positioned to absolutely capitalize and make fortunes, and others that will miss it and are here, and others that are off chasing something else and realize, oh my God, I was there. And so thank you for that, Mark. Anybody else want to jump in and share their thoughts or feelings about, timing in their life, timing where they've had something really great happen, or timing where they just was, awful, and they're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Go ahead, Michael.
One story that comes to mind comes from a book you might have heard of called Think and Grow Rich. There was, I think it was JP Morgan was getting his shoe shined, and the shoe shine boy told him to buy a stock. He had word on the street is buy this stock, that JP Morgan had just bought. And he immediately went and sold the stock because he said, if the shoe shine boy already knows about it, it's too late. You missed the opportunity.
That's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the same thing. If it's that consensus when I always say you want to get involved in network marketing before the whole world has heard about it, and helping be part of helping the world learn about it, right? But if it's on every street corner, guess what? You've probably missed it. Yeah, fantastic. Anybody else want to jump in? Giving their example of incredible timing or incredibly poor timing, where they just, like Mark gave that example. That was a phenomenal example.
I got another one.
Hi, John.
Oh, good.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. So I think I will consider myself to be one of those few who joined in at the perfect time when Valentis was only a year old and the first coffee was introduced, and that was in July of 2015. So I feel I was someone like me who has no networking experience, and initially was forced to join network marketing because my business partner in real estate, she wants to do it with me. So I was forced to do this type of business. And, I have no experience, I have no training, and I have no desire to work with everybody else, because working with everyone it's a heck of fun, but yet there's a lot of pains along the way, because unlike when you interview for an employee, you kind of hire, or you work with someone that has the same qualifications or has the same experience with you. But with network marketing, anyone who just want to say yes with you, with no experience, with no educational, and you just work with them. And there's a lot of challenges with that, to be honest, with everyone who's listening here. So you work with all kinds of individuals, everyone is coming from different backgrounds, and all that. So it's very challenging. And when I joined in, I joined with a blind eye and with an excitement, because the product that was introduced the first time was working on me, and the result that I experienced was dramatic, I would say. And because for many years, I always tell myself, if only I lose weight, if only I will reach this certain weight, I will reward myself. I will buy this, I will buy that. But I never, I never reached these goals. But then when I was drinking the coffee and with no effort at all, I went down to my insane weight. I was so happy. And I think that my excitement with the product, it was so easy for me. It was a perfect timing. And with the compensation plan with the company, it's just like no brainer. The money is so easy to earn, and there's a product that delivers immediate result. But then I'm going 7 years with this company, John. I just wanna, for people has been here, we should embrace a healthy lifestyle. Once we get the result, I mean, we cannot, you know, complain about, oh, I gained back the weight, because we went back to our old ways. We have to work around embracing a healthy lifestyle, right? So it's not about we're complaining about I feel like we are not in the position, if we've been here for 3 years, we are not in the position to complain that the product is not working. You know, I see new people with the product, whatever product we are introducing to them, getting results. But for people has been here, then we should be embracing a healthy and active lifestyle at this point. We should be armed with all the knowledge and all the lessons that we learned all these years. So back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I mean, you think about that, you came to the industry 7 years ago with no experience in this industry whatsoever. And you talk about timing. Because the thing about it is one of the things they say about good timing, is our luck. Let's say luck. Luck is when opportunity meets preparedness, right? And then applied hard work. Because there were other people at that exact same spot that maybe hit the timing right, but guess what they didn't do? They didn't put the effort in, right? The best timing in the world without the effort, it doesn't give you that compounding effect. And so, but then you can look at your situation, once again, even because you were able to ride that entire window that started in July, the introduction of the coffee in July of 2015, and rode that first, which was again about an 18-month window, and then it was followed by about an 18-month challenge, and then Optimum came out, and then you maintained the focus, maintain the team, in that difficult circumstances, and then hit it again, right? And now, maintaining again through very difficult times, and ready to hit it again. So that's again. So you have to know that nothing goes like this forever, right? Timing only lasts so long, but and when it does happen, especially in this industry, you need to, as Michael said, or what Mark was saying, he missed it, but he's not going to miss it this time, and he's going to get up an hour earlier, stay up an hour later, make that extra phone call, because when the timing is perfect, it just exponentially increases the result of the effort. So, but it does take effort, right? Timing without effort, still is missed. So, anybody else want to jump in and say anything?
Hey, John, can you hear me okay?
Hey, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's Siv. Yeah, I'm over here. I'm kind of choppy. I'm not at home with the high-speed internet. But great topic, and as you mentioned, it's one thing to be at the right place at the right time. Timing is absolutely, I think, the biggest component for me in success or lack of success. But it's another thing to understand the positioning, right? The position that you're in, and understand once I understood that some of the things I do 60, 90, almost 6 months ago is results today, right? Understanding is very important because it's going to allow you to come with a calm composure, understanding what's going to happen based upon the activity you're doing. So it's good to understand the timing component, but don't get so anxious that you are not able to master your emotions to go and execute with a good strategy and tactic to put people through the process. So it's timing and understanding your positioning. When you're starting the fire, you're going to have to add a lot of wood, and it's going to take a lot of time and effort to cut down that wood to build the fire bigger. And when we started back in 2019 to build, right, in November 2019, we didn't start to see like within our organization until like 30, 60, 90 days. And it started blowing up, and everyone was like, what are you guys doing differently? And the truth is, we weren't doing anything different. We had the right components in place, as you mentioned, the critical elements. Everybody was firing on the same piston. We're duplicating simplicity, just like Raphael was mentioning. But man, timing is great, but you have to also understand the positioning and your ability to discipline yourself to do the simple things every day, day in and day out, and watch what happens. Back to you, John.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Siv. And it's, getting, positioning, recognizing it, working hard. And again, I mean, we're talking right now about, our business, but understand that this, is in every single part of our life. Timing has an impact. Every single thing that we do. And, some of you may, be thinking about this and just thinking that you've got the worst timing ever. I mean, I've had the worst timing on things, and I've had some circumstances where I've had the best timing, so, but it does make a difference. So anyway, Michael, did you want to say something again?
Yeah. Another thing that I was taught about timing with network marketing a long time ago was, everybody's life's like a parade, and as you kind of come into somebody's life and part of the parade. And so you might hit the part where you say, hey, looking for some extra income. Like, I just got a pay raise at work. I'm making $65,000 a year now. And then you talk to 6 months later, though, their company goes, we have to have some layoffs. Everybody making more than $64,000 and your position's getting laid off. Right. And then they're gone. And now they need an opportunity. It just depends on what moment you catch them in their life.
Yeah, no question.
That timing.
One of the things I think I'm going to do here real quickly, because when it comes to our business, networking, and I've talked about this multiple times on opportunity calls, but I'm going to explain not just, because we can look in hindsight and know, wow, that would have been great timing, right? I mean, I can sit and go over these stock market numbers and wow, February, somewhere between November and February of 2020, it would have been, or the end of 2019 and the beginning of 2020 up till about middle of February, it would have been great timing to sell, right? And then, in that, end of February to the middle of March, it would have been a great time to buy, right? We can look at that. And so that's easy to do. But why does timing do what it does? And I can't remember if it was you, Mike. It was you when you talked about the shoe shiner, right? And when you heard about it. So why does timing work the way it works when it comes to our business, right? Because everybody dreams like to want to be at the very beginning of a company, right? I mean, that's the point of genesis. That would be unbelievable. And although that sounds really attractive, it's very seldom, and I don't care if it's our business, if it's a stock, it's real. I mean, at the beginning of anything, yes, it can be, but in most cases, it either doesn't work out because of a million problems, or it takes a while for something to get going, and those people that were there at the very, very beginning don't have the strength, the vision, the stick-to-itness to make it through those startup stages, right? So although being involved in a startup company, if it makes it and you're able to stay strong during this difficult time, yes, it can be great timing, but very few people get that timing. Very, very few people have the strength to handle that. Okay. And you hear me talk about that sweet spot, because if you look at it again, I talk about this window of timing in our industry. It roughly lasts around 18 months, give or take a few months. And so, it's very, very predictable. When you look at a company, when a company is early in its growth, it's very, very challenging. The reason for that is it's all based on what could happen. There's no evidence. There's no proof. It's all based on what could happen, and it very seldom does happen. I use that fishing analogy. It's like I can get you all excited about, this brand new spot nobody's ever fished. It's going to be unbelievable. And we get out there and the weather's miserable and there's no fish biting. And you're like, this is not what I signed up for. This is no fun. I want to go home. I'm freezing here. Fish aren't biting. And then, all of a sudden the weather clears and the fish start biting. And you're like, if you stuck it out, you're like, oh man, I'm so glad I'm here. Right. But when the weather clears and the fish start biting in our industry, if we make that parallel, it's when a company hits, that couple $1 million a month in sales. What happens at that window is there's evidence, there's proof, there's revenue, there's money being made, there's product stories and product successes. It's no longer, hey, this is going to happen. It's starting to happen. And then that window happens, right? And then when it hits 10 million a month, that's when the shoe shine boy is saying you should do this, right? Because it's being reached into the masses. In the fishing analogy, the fish are jumping in the boat, people can join in that moment, in that critical mass window, and they make money incredibly fast. But their real upside is with the people that built it during that sweet spot, right? Between 2 and 10 million, they get that base in place. So when public acceptance, when the masses happen, you're positioned to take advantage of it. Another analogy that I use in trying to get people to understand why timing works the way it works is I talk about, if you go into a mall and you go into the food court, typically the busiest place in the mall is the food court, crazy busy. And you go into the middle of that food court and you stand in the middle of that food court and you stare at the ceiling. And if anybody does notice you, they're probably saying to themselves, I wonder what's wrong with that person. Right? That's kind of like being involved in a startup company. Everybody thinks you're crazy and blah, blah, blah. Now imagine you're in that food court and you've got a handful of people that join you staring at the ceiling. Now, all of a sudden, people are looking at you and they're thinking, I wonder what those people are looking at, right? They're curious. That's kind of like entering a company at the perfect moment, right? People are curious. Hey, they're interested. I wonder what those people are looking at. Now imagine you have so many people staring at the ceiling that anyone that comes into that food court, they just automatically look up. They just want to know what everybody's looking at, right? That's consensus. That's where the evidence is so overwhelming that everybody wants to participate, right? And again, the best place is, most people don't have the strength to stand there by themselves, right? And build that team. The best place is when for most of us, it's when the team is where the curiosity, there's some evidence, there's some proof, then you go crazy and get up an hour earlier, stay an hour later, make that extra phone call, do whatever you need to do to get that team as large as possible. So when everybody starts staring at the ceiling, you're in a position to compound, magnify, and multiply your efforts in a massive way. So that's where I think we're headed. So anyway, with that, anybody else have any last minute thoughts or comments on what we've discussed today before we say goodbye for the day? And
hey, John, it's Yvonne. I just wanted to make a comment. Everything that you said, it came to me that you're absolutely right. Windows open and windows closed. Sorry, my baby's crying, but that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So there's another timing situation. The baby picked not a good time to cry, right? When you came off of mute. But timing is every part of our life, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all. And, every day there's great timing and there's opportunities for poor timing, right? So think about everything you do, but don't overthink it. I tend to do that myself. I overthink things too much, but I, look at history, look at circumstances, look at facts. And, to Mark's point, or it was Michael's point, and this is, Earl Nightingale talks about this in his Strangest Secret. He says, look at what the great majority of the people are doing in any given circumstances and do the opposite. And you'll probably never be wrong again. Right. And so anyway, with that, everybody have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. And I hope you're taking advantage of great timing in all areas of your life. Bye now.